Furries, the furry community. Oh my, the fuck am I doing with my life? So I decided to pull a spare Kleenex and make another 7 Levels of Being a Furry HD remix. Or in this current case, Dante's edition. So if you've read the divine comedy Dante's Inferno, you should know that he believes there are 7 levels of hell. Okay, I know there are actually 9 levels, but for the sake of this argument, we're going with 7. 7 levels of torture that get progressively worse for the sins that humans have committed over the span of their life. As he went further down, he saw more sin in humans, and in turn, more torture. On the first level would be people who weren't baptized or didn't believe in God, and the 7th level would consist of sadists, mass murderers, and terrorists. So as there are 7 levels of hell in Dante's Inferno, I believe there are 7 levels of being a furry, because there's nothing more unholy than a furry. God blessed us by placing us on this earth as humans, the most intelligent of all, the dominant species, and you wish you were a fox that could stand on its hind legs. Fucking marvelous. Besides the point, for the 7 levels of being a furry, it's a little bit different. The further down you go, the more hellish it is for the people around you. And it should also be noted that I have nothing against furries since I myself am one. I mean, look at this. Look at this. This entire method is just a way of putting people on a scale of how furry they are. So if you're offended by any of this, please go to your nearest window and try looking for the flying fuck I sent. So if you're done bitching, let's begin. Level 1, the affinity stage. The most basic level of being a furry you can get. This is where one enjoys the cartoony anthropomorphic style of animals. This includes things like enjoying seeing animals wearing clothing, enjoying Disney Pixar films a little too much, and only barely thinking about having a fursona. This category is more or less populated by a very rare breed of creative children, along with some adults who grew up with a love for Disney. I know kids love Disney and shit. We all did. But thinking about making something in relation to a fursona when you're a child is very rare. But if you are at this level, just remember that you're only at the basic level of the Inferno, so don't worry, just don't feed into it. Now on the other hand, at this stage you're already in hell. There's no way up and out, and the only way to go is down. To level 2, the plushie stage. Now in this phase, on the scale of furry, or overall flamboyancy, you'd be going from a 1 to a solid 25 out of 10. Things do escalate very quickly. Now this is a stage where you would begin to grow your affinities for the furry genre. This is where you would begin buying plushies and potentially getting your kinks involved with the fandoms you adore. This is also the point where you might start talking like a furry, and not in the physical sense. If you did this physically, you'd be mistaken to have Down syndrome. When I mean talking, I mean in online conversation. This is where the second phase thrives and spreads the most, meaning gravity kicks in at this point. You'll begin using words like ooh, oh, whatever the fuck this is, and you may even begin to break out the occasional pet or hug when talking with online friends. More than likely, these friends will stop wanting to talk to you because they're fucking terrified, or they might just go for the instant block. But if you happen to be friends with a furry of or around the same level, I can guarantee that yours and his behaviors will bring each other down to the third phase, level 3, the planning phase, or as I like to call it, the thick stage. This is the stage where you have a fully blown original fursona. At this point, you've dropped a good $5,000 worth of artwork on the fucker, which is the equivalent to like 3 art pieces and 1 sketch, knowing the pricing for fucking commissions nowadays. Now that you have your fursona, you've officially gone on to planning out your fursuit, how much it'll cost, where you're gonna get the exotic fibers, and how long it'll take before your parents find said project that you hid in your closet from them. Along with stages 1 and 2, you've gone fully blown into enforcing kinks onto your fursona. I mean, I don't blame Pyro. That's a thick-ass dragon. Level 4, the suitor stage. Congratulations, you've officially dumped all of your college savings, as little as it was, into making your very first fursuit. Now you're just getting used to being a fursuiter and you're still self-conscious about it. You're thinking, holy shit, I want to live with my parents, but if they find out, they'll disown me. Which is a fucking mystery how that hasn't been apparent already. You're not feeling comfortable or ready for conventions, like Vancouver. Every fiber in my being regrets saying that. I have lost brain cells for saying that. So you just take pictures of yourself in your fursuit and kinda just fuck around awkwardly with your thumb up your ass. Level 5, the confidence stage. I think this stage is self-explanatory. You go to a convention in your suit, you have a fucking gangbang with the other fursuiters, and you make friends over that. You know, if people actually make friends that way, then they're living a much more fulfilled life than me. I've got fuck all for people. Level 6, the questionable stage. You see, I don't actually want to talk about this one because it's getting really creepy and disgusting. 2 words, fursuit sex. Question mark. You begin to question more about yourself, who you are, what you want to become. Wait, who you want to become? That's right, at this point you're considering, if not, you've already decided to become a kin. Depending, of course, on your Sona's animal base. Oh, fuck being human. You were meant to be a dragon. See, the more I talk about this, the more I lose hope for humanity. And to wrap it all up, level 7, the degenerate phase. I've never actually met a human being that has gotten to this level of being a furry before, hence this video having 7 levels of being a furry instead of 9. But I've never felt so blessed to not know someone like that. So as you can tell, since I know 0 people that are at this level, probably gonna be the same for 8 and 9. The only way I can possibly come close to explaining what this stage is, just watch this video. Even though this does not seem appealing in the slightest, I can see why that's a major turnoff. The video sums up this phase pretty damn well. Okay, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm getting really uncomfortable. Now that you've heard about the 7 levels of being a furry and what it entails, I'm assuming you want some good examples or applicants to the levels, so I'd like to welcome a couple of friends of mine on here to share their levels of furry with us.
Furry is probably one of the most complicated to describe communities out there, as there's a vast variety of them out there, whether it be the big ones that hug you uncomfortably in the street, to the ones who are just meme-obsessed fucklords on the internet. Now, typically, the main stereotype towards furries is, oh wow, they must run around in fursuits having sex and injecting crystal meth all day. Well, let me tell you first that those fuckers are actually lucky as hell. I mean, really, how many of you can afford a mascot suit and several pounds of crystal meth? Didn't think so. On a serious note though, I made this stupid chart the other day to sort out the various levels of furry. You see, there are people who aren't furries, people who are Diet Coke furries, and people who are syrup furries, or more specifically, normal people, slightly less normal people, and finally, a rabid hive mind. So my summary is essentially that furries confuse me, and the walking furry stereotype is actually richer than the majority of us. In a nutshell, I guess I'm at the affinity stage because I can't fucking afford plusies or fursuits.
Hello there, my name is Bob, and it looks like I'm here today to talk about furries. This is a pretty fun topic for me to do personally because I've always been pretty interested in the furry fandom and the things they make and do. You know, people making art, videos, music, or even just making a fursona or wearing a fursuit. I've always found it very fascinating, and I follow quite a lot of them because I just love the creativity and the community that comes out of it. Of course, I'm talking about the more open side of the furry community, but there's other things like porn that some might consider a big reason why the fandom is pretty weird, but I'm not here to talk about that today. So a friend of mine likes to split furries into two categories, the syrup furries and the Diet Coke furries. Diet Coke furries being probably the first couple levels of being a furry, the syrup being the rest. Personally, I'd have to say I'm a Diet Coke furry, but who knows what's gonna happen. Of course, I'm interested in it, yes, but I guess I'm more of a sidelines kind of guy who would just be sipping a Dr. Pepper while the fursuits are fucking in the corner.
What's happening, lads? It's Sloth here. So the other day, Beta hit me up in the DMs asking me to give my opinion of what level furry I think I am. Now, this is a little bit awkward, saying I've made a video on furries in the past, and let's just say I didn't exactly talk about them too kindly. In my own opinion, I would even put them at the bottom of the scale of respectable fandoms, and that's saying something when there's a fuck ton of weeaboos around. From my understanding, furries started getting more and more traction when the game Five Nights at Freddy's came out, and YouTubers such as the used tampon himself, Markiplier, started making more and more videos on the game. This meant that more people started jumping into the Five Nights at Freddy's fandom, leading to more people finding out more information about furries, and then joining this fandom, which is seen as a cult to most of the internet. I often get asked, just because I have a sloth as my main icon for almost everything, if I'm a furry. My response to that is a straight up no. The whole reason I chose a sloth as my persona is because they've been my favorite animal since I was like 8, and my old Minecraft username used to be the Sloth Emperor. Little bit embarrassing. In my personal opinion, you can do what you want inside your own home if it makes you happy, as long as it doesn't affect me, and I still stand by that with furries. But when you take it onto YouTube, into public, and create your own conventions where you all dress up as weird, colourful animals, that's where I draw the line. And please don't get me started on furry porn. That shit's just fucking weird. Now, these opinions could have just been formed with my experience of furries on the internet or from my friends' opinions of furries. And I'm sure there's a lot of furries out there who are normal, nice lads, such as my pal Beta. But unfortunately for some, you will not find me climbing into a colourful cat suit anytime soon.
Well, this is a fuckfest, ain't it? So I hope you guys enjoyed the 7 levels of being a furry. I'd like to give a big thank you to the people who featured in my video. All their links to their channels and Twitters will be in the description below, so go and check them out. It was a fun little remake of a video that I had in the past that I wanted to make again. Also, let me know if you enjoyed this video. You know, just like, comment, that's usual shit. I'm actually on the road to 2.5k subs, and when that comes, I'll do a Q&A. Also, I just want to mention, you can apply anywhere in between these levels, but main thing, this was a joke.